Hi. Um, and for those of you that know who I am, I'm Linda. The following video, the one you're about to see, I recorded because I felt like I needed to. The video talks about the impact of the death of my son on me, and it explains why we started doing the van thing. So, if this is going to bother you, if my tears are going to bother you, if it's going to be too hard to watch, then I understand. But I wanted to preface this by saying that, and thank you for being part of my life. This is an awfully real part of my life. But here we go. So we'll see how this goes. We are in separate vehicles. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me. I'm hoping you can. I've been wanting to make this little video for quite some time. You guys are getting to know us, so I would like to give you some information. I'm driving in the car. Larry is somewhere behind me in the van. We just picked it up, and you'll see that video. Either you will have seen it or you'll see it soon. I wanted to make a video for you. So I wanted to talk about one of the reasons why we got in the van. I'm driving. I hope I can do this cleanly without tears. I don't know if I'll be able to or not. 2 days ago, I guess, Thursday, it's Saturday now. Thursday was the anniversary of my son's death, 1 year anniversary. Sorry. I thought I could do this. I thought giving myself the grace to do it while I was driving might help, but maybe it will. Maybe it will. My son's name was David. He was an absolutely wonderful child. Now, let me give you a little information. This will keep me from crying right now. Larry and I were married later in life. So we have this little blended family. He has 3 kids, and I have David. David is my only child. I love my stepkids. They're all grown, just like my son was grown. I love them. But the young man that I'm talking to you about is my child. He was the father of 4 kids. 3 birth children, blood children, and then 1 by marriage that he loved just as dearly. A year and 2 days ago.
In 2 miles, take exit 293 toward Landon Road.
My son was hit by a careless, reckless driver when he was on his motorcycle. He was a member of CVMA. Very proud member. He was a military veteran. He had retired just last June. From the military. He was deployed a lot. And he and his wife had just been together a few years before he passed.
Take exit 293 toward Landon Road.
The youngest of the 4 kids. You guys have met if you've watched our other videos.
Take exit 293, then keep right.
We just recently took his wife, my wonderful daughter-in-law, and
Keep right.
her beautiful little daughter. We took them to Disney, so you may have seen those videos. David and Tabitha hadn't gotten to come to Florida together.
Continue on Landon Road.
And she's still my daughter-in-law. I love her dearly. David was at a function. I believe it was a Saturday last year. I'm not 100% sure.
In half a mile, merge on Lake Iowa Road.
They had gone to a CVMA function, and Tabitha was riding behind him in the car with Veda, the little one, and he was on his motorcycle. They went and picked up Veda from a birthday party, and they left and got
Continue for 7 miles.
right up the road, and he was going through a green light with her behind in the car, and some woman was getting ready to turn right. She didn't stop. When she turned right, she didn't stop, and she pulled out in front of him. When he hit her, he flew up over her car, flipped up in the air, and landed. Beta saw everything. His wife is a nurse, and she was the first one on the scene. All the guys from the CVMA function hurried. As soon as they heard, somebody from the gas station across the street saw it happen, and the word spread, and they came. Got there like immediately because everybody was leaving, and they had to stop the woman. She wouldn't get out of the car. They had to stop her from pulling away, driving off. My daughter-in-law, as I said, was first on scene. She tried to stay with him until the ambulance got there and the police got there. And then they transferred him to the trauma unit. And nobody knew until then that it was his wife. So anyway, she called me in Florida. We had that morning, a hurricane had just passed through. All of the airports were closed. So I couldn't leave that day. She kept in contact with me. And I got the first flight I could once they reopened the airport. And I got there. He had broken bones at the base of his skull. He had other broken bones, severely broken arm, leg, but those were not the most important ones. He was in a coma. They had to then give him a medication which caused eventually even medication to keep him still until he could have surgery to fuse his skull, his neck. He was in the trauma unit for a long time. I'm sorry. I'm trying really hard not to cry while I'm driving. I figured this would help me. I don't remember where I stopped, but he had a medication reaction.
Continue on US 98 North for 7 miles.
I had given him, I think it's propofol,
There are police reported ahead.
and he had what they thought was a reaction called PRIS. There's not a really good survival rate when that happens. They had to get the surgery done. They took him into surgery. They delayed it, but they took him into surgery to fuse the bones at the base of his skull so that they could secure his spine. But in order to do that surgery, they had to flip him. When they tried, he could keep his blood oxygen level up. They kept losing it. He couldn't do the surgery. They ended up putting him in a halo. One thing I didn't tell you is my son was handsome. 6'5", 6'6", giant. His CVMA name was Goliath. He was such a big, gentle man. They had to put him in their big, hard plastic, fleece-lined things when they put them in a halo. They don't use halos very much anymore. because they can do the surgery most of the time. But anyway, we were still hoping. Sorry. We were still hoping that we were just stepping sideways instead of just changing direction. Once he was back in his room, this was days. Once he was back in his room, they kept his blood oxygen kept dropping. They just continued. They kept fighting. We were told by the doctors the evening of the 8th that we needed to prepare ourselves and have anybody that wanted to say goodbye to him to come up. That he probably wasn't going to make it. So we brought the kids out to say goodbye. And they just let anybody come in and say their goodbyes to him. And his wife, my beautiful daughter-in-law, and I stayed up there all night. She was anyway, every night. But I stayed up with him all night that night. The night of the 8th. And then the morning of the 9th of October last year, my son took his last breath. My beautiful son. Sorry. So, my Larry and I talked, and we wanted to be able to travel to see the kids. So we decided that we were going to sell our camper and buy the van. So that's why we bought the van. So that we could travel unobstructed. We could bring the dogs with us and we could go see all the kids. His kids. My grandkids and our grandkids on his side. Life is too short. So I'm sorry. I know that this is probably hard. But I felt like this 1-year anniversary might be the time to do this. It feels like he died yesterday. And it's the hardest thing I've ever done. I miss David so much. I have, as a mom, a huge, empty hole inside me. And I don't know that that'll ever go away. But I'm so lucky to have Larry's children that I consider, and they allow me to be grandma. And I'm so lucky to have my daughter-in-law that I love, and all 4 of David's kids, and I'm grandma. So That's why we started traveling in the van. And I'm so blessed to have it. And to have you guys watching as we start to grow. But I know we've been asked to give more information. Here's more information. Thank you. Bye. Okay, for those of you that stuck through to the end, I appreciate you for doing that. And I hope that you understand the emotion. And thank you for watching it. So that'll give you a little bit more of an understanding about who I am and why we're doing what we're doing. David was a wonderful man. David, Goliath, CVMA, which is Combat Military Veterans Association. That was he loved it. My son, he helped build houses for homeless vets. He was just a good man. And I can sit here right now and tell you that without the tears, but I'm very proud to have been his mother. He was fantastic. And he's very much in my heart. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking around to the end. And hopefully the next video will be more smiles and probably a little more enjoyable than this one. So from Larry and I, we'll see you again soon. Bye.